Today's top stories at NBR. Reserve Bank Governor challenged over staff turnover. A rosier outlook for Wellington Drive. Steel and Tube upgrades earnings guidance. And there's more coming right up. Kia ora and welcome to NBR Today, a wrap of the day's top business stories from the authority in New Zealand business news since 1970, nbr.co.nz. It's Wednesday, December 15th. I'm Paul Brennan. Thanks again for joining us. The Treasury is expecting economic growth will slow considerably in this financial year as a result of lockdowns in Auckland and elsewhere. In its half-year economic and fiscal update, it's forecasting annual growth of just 0.8% to the end of June next year, compared with 5.1% growth in the year to the end of June this year. Unemployment is predicted to remain low at 3.2% before slowly rising to reach 4.1% by the 2026 financial year. Inflation is forecast to be 5.1% next year before falling to 3.1% the year after and getting to 2.2% by 2026. Reserve Bank Governor Adrian Orr has again been challenged over staff turnover at the bank when he appeared before Parliament's Finance and Expenditure Select Committee for the bank's annual review today, Wednesday. National's finance spokesperson Simon Bridges told Orr since he became the governor, only 2 of the top 12 executives were still there. It looked reckless, he opined. Orr said the bank was increasing its senior leadership team from 6 to 8 under a new restructure. Bridges asked if the executives were being replaced by more junior staff. Orr said when the appointments were made, Bridges would see that they were not being replaced by junior staff. Then Bridges said he had been approached by many people in the financial sector in just the week or two since he became National Finance spokesperson to raise concerns that Orr was shuffling people out. Is that a question? Orr said. Bridges said he was just expressing a sentiment that had been raised with him. The government is considering a special visa for the seafood sector, which would provide a secure, capped supply of migrant workers in perpetuity, an idea being eyed jealously by other sectors struggling to fill their workforces with migration currently stopped. As sectors including IT and farming struggle to bring enough migrant workers through the border to fill large gaps in their workforces, an independent ministerial inquiry has proposed that up to 20% of the entire seafood sector's workforce could be filled by a guaranteed supply of migrants in a new capped system that would grant either long-lived or perpetual permits to employers to hire the migrants. The permits would be transferable between employers and allocated in part by an auction system. The recommendations are contained with the Te Whakatipu I Ngā Tangata o Tangaroa Growing Ocean People report. There is no time frame as yet for the government's role in either adopting all, some or none of the recommendations. 9 months ago, NZX-listed refrigeration technology supplier Wellington Drive Technologies pitched a rosier outlook for 2021 as it reported a more than 40% drop in revenue due to COVID-19's impact on both supply chains and demand. And slowly but surely, that outlook has come to fruition. In April, it informed the market it expected record revenue this year. Then just this week, it upgraded its guidance around revenue and profit again. That announcement, made Monday, has seen shares in the company climbed 13% over the past week to 9.3 cents, one of the strongest performers on the NZX. The company welcomed Greg Ballard in September as its chief executive after Greg Allen stepped down at the end of March. After 2 days of evidence, a High Court hearing over debts of more than $60 million boiled down to one question. Was there a genuine dispute over how much was owed? BNZ was seeking summary judgment for more than $60 million from companies associated with expat businessman George Kerr. The defendants, meanwhile, sought an adjournment until February or March next year to allow time for analysis of bank data. Appearing for the bank, Zane Kennedy said the application for an adjournment was a carbon copy of an application dismissed a week earlier by Justice Graham Lang, and that Kerr had all information in bank statements required to confirm the amounts owing. Steel and Tube Holdings has upgraded its earnings guidance for the 6 months to December 31st on the back of a surge in business at the company's distribution division. The division, which sources and distributes steel products, has experienced a 35% growth in sales over the same time last year, driven by strong residential and infrastructure activity and growth in the commercial and manufacturing sectors. Primarily a commodity market, competitive advantages come from customer service and brand awareness in a marketplace in which there are many competitors, including newly listed Vulcan Steel. Overall, group revenues had increased 22% in the first 5 months of the current financial year, and volumes had also risen 11%. The full details of those stories and more are at nbr.co.nz right now. Tomorrow at NBR, in his politics column, Brent Edwards asks whether government spending is achieving what it set out to do, while Maria Slade reports a new venture capital fund set up to back indie game developers has made its first investments. I'm Paul Brennan. I look forward to being with you again from around lunchtime tomorrow for the morning's NBR trending stories. Then same time, same place, right here again from 5:30 tomorrow for another NBR Today.